Hey friends, I'm so excited for this episode today. I'm going to be sharing my fitness routine today and what I am doing. And this does change for me a little bit, sort of season by season. So I hope that this will inspire you to think about your fitness routine. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michele, mama 4 and military wife. And I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. So before I even start telling you what my routine is, I want to do this just to give you some motivation, some inspiration, but know that your routine is probably going to look different than me. So I'm not sharing this for you to copy and this is the answer for what you need to do. I'm sharing it to just provide a little inspiration, give some ideas, and also as I talk, you're going to hear how I think about my working out and how I sort of switch and adjust that. Okay, so right now, my husband's military, so right now we are living in Oklahoma. And so pretty mild winters, especially for a lot of you people who are further north. So we have had some cold days, some days in the freezing, some ice, and some snow, but it doesn't stay long. So I am from the Indiana, Chicago area, so I know for a lot of people it gets cold and stays cold. So it does not do that here. So I am able to be outside more. And so as I tell you this is what I'm doing right now in this season of my life. And I always stick to working out, but it does change as we're going through different things. If you've been listening for a while, you probably have heard me talk. For example, we moved here about a year ago. And during our move, I sort of changed how I worked out. I didn't work out as hard. I did more yoga, right? Because moving is stressful. We have all these different things going on. So I adjusted my workout so that my workouts weren't being a stress on my body, right? Because I didn't have that capacity or bandwidth to do that. Okay, so one of my goals right now is me, my husband, and my oldest daughter, who is 18, we are going to Rome in March, and I am so excited. And there we're going to just be walking around a lot more. And so normally I do walk almost every day, and I probably do 2.5, maybe every once in a while, 3 miles. And that really helps me get in the steps that I need to just sort of feel good, because most of the time I am a little more sedentary, sitting at the computer, doing coaching calls, working with clients, different things like that. So I have to be very intentional about getting steps and going for walks to get those steps. So one of my goals, since we are going to Rome, and also a little background, I have always felt like I'm a person, it really takes me a while to build up muscle strength and endurance. So one day I was walking with one of my friends, and she is a fast walker, and we walked more and my legs were just tired that day. So I know that I need to build up this strength and endurance. I know some people, their bodies do that a little faster, right? So we're all different. So one of my goals is to walk 4+ miles 1 to 2 times a week. And so I've been doing that. Even this week, I did 5 miles. So I have done that a couple times. And it's sort of fun to have a goal. It makes it a little more motivating. So especially when I do these longer walks, I tend to talk to someone on the phone or do something that makes it a little more interesting. So I've actually really enjoyed that. And it really didn't take me too long of consistently walking, just a little bit longer for my legs to not feel so fatigued from it. And so with walking, if that is you too, you can also work on your pace. So I try to do that at a decent pace. So you can play with your endurance there, right? If we walk slower, we're not going to wear out as fast versus if we walk faster. So it's good to build that strength, and you can do that in different ways. And so you could even think for yourself, Is there like a 5K, or is there a hike, or is there something that you want to do that can be a goal, and you can start working towards that goal and inching your way up, right? A lot of us, when we get over 40, we can't do like, I want to run a half marathon and, go from 6 miles to 12 and be good. Like, it's probably going to hurt most of our bodies. So it really helps to plan that out and inch our way up so we are not stressing our body. So the other part of my fitness routine is strength training. So right now I'm focusing a little more on strength training versus yoga. And my yoga does have strength training, but my strength training is a little more strength training, right? It's going to be heavier weights, lower reps, and that's going to build muscle a little bit more than yoga, where I'm still feeling that muscle burn, but it's doing it in a different way. So I'm really trying to do 3 days of strength training. My goal is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And sometimes something happens, and then I might have Saturday where I am doing a workout. So on those days, if you don't know, I am 43 now, but when I was 40, I learned how to do my first pull-up. So it took me about a month. I used a program so I could learn how to do it efficiently and effectively. And so I still work on my pull-ups. Sometimes I get a little burned out of doing them, and so I'll take a break off. So on these strength training days, most of the time I'm doing pull-ups. Some days or some weeks I have skipped them just because I feel like a little burned out from doing them. But when I don't do them, I lose that strength pretty quickly. But I do like doing them because right now I can do about 4 pull-ups. But right, so that is a really heavy weight, really low rep, and that really does help to build muscle, and it works a lot of different muscles. The other thing that my teenage boys got for Christmas was bench press. So I have been doing that too, and that has been fun just to do something different. So right, just like with my goal with walking, it was a little bit different. Switching up my strength training just a little bit, adding the bench press in, and since we have a barbell, just doing some different exercises with that. And really, even on my other strength training exercises, it gets easy to get in a rut and do the same thing. So just adding a little bit of variety to my strength training. And also in my strength training, I'm making sure that I am pushing my muscles. But this is my rule for me and for my clients. I have to be able to breathe. I have to be able to do the exercise correctly with good technique. So I am trying to push myself a little bit more, but I'm staying within my capacity, right? Because if we can do the same exercise and we do 10 reps and it's like burns a little bit, not too much, we're not going to get as much benefit, right? If I can do that same exercise and I can keep good form and I can keep breathing and do 12 or 15 reps, I'm going to have a lot more benefit from that exercise. So I'm really trying to push myself a little bit, but not too much. So I'm really putting that strain on that muscles so they rebuild and repair and get stronger. But I'm definitely doing that within my tolerance. And so the other 2 days a week, typically Tuesday and Thursday, I am doing yoga or some type of bar style class. So we have a Y by us that we are members to. So 1 day a week, I will go and do a yoga class in person. I really like the instructor because she does a good amount of strength in the class, also with stretching and breathing. I've been to some yoga classes where they're not as strength-based, and I tend to not like them as much. So this lady, I really love how she teaches, and I enjoy going in person. And also on a side note, so I homeschool my kids, so I am with my kids a lot. So I also take that night, I go and do yoga, and I have some time out of the house to have a break. So that really refreshes me too. So just want to point that out in case any of you need to hear that you guys are busy moms too, and you need to take that break for yourself weekly. So sometimes on Thursday, I will just find, I will do a yoga class online. Sometimes I use my own yoga videos I've made. Sometimes I watch someone else, or even recently I've done some bar style type classes too. So still videos where I'm getting that strength training, but it's just different than sort of the weighted strength training. So it's going to be more holding. It's going to be coming in and out of things. But it also includes that stretching and that breathing and that balance. Those other pieces that really put all of my workout and exercises together and make them very holistic. And then sometimes on the weekends, like Saturdays, typically I'll still do a walk or something, right? If something came up during the week, I might do a workout that day. And then on Sundays, this hasn't happened because we had some snow and it was cold for a little bit, but I like to go hiking out in nature's on Sunday. So when I am able to and I can walk on the trails, I really enjoy doing that on Sundays. And this doesn't have to be like a fast walk. If I go by myself or like go with my husband, we can walk faster. Sometimes our kids will come and it will be a little bit slower. And that's okay. But I think I've been doing this ever since it cooled off here. I'm trying to think, probably September, October, and then ticks went away. Ticks were a big thing here. So we sort of waited the woods during the summer. But it has just felt really nice to be out in nature and to do those walks. And there's a lake by where we go to. So it combines that. I'm getting my movement, but it's also making me feel really good mentally and emotionally. And there is a lot of science too with being outside and being in nature. So obviously when I walk on the other days, I am still outside, but it is just different being on a trail, having trees and woods and all of that around me. So you always want to think for yourself, like, what do you need? What really benefits you? And you have to think about yourself holistically. So not just thinking about your body or your weight loss or your muscles. What do you need mentally? What do you need emotionally? So you do not need to do exactly what I'm doing. We all have our starting point. So you can start with 5 or 10 minutes. So you don't need to be overwhelmed. You don't need to be exhausted. This is my routine after probably a decade plus of building healthy habits. And right, I have had times where I am doing less, and that's okay. We have to keep our long-term goal in mind, just not this short-term goal. So I encourage you, wherever you are, start small and think about what is that one thing you need to start with. So it might be a 5, it might be a 10-minute workout. It might just be trying to go for a 15-minute walk. And I encourage you that if you need support, especially when it comes to exercise, is to set up a free call with me so we can chat and see where you are and see where you want to go. I have a personal training app where I can customize workouts and plans exactly for you. So there's no guessing, there's no searching YouTube on what to do. You have a holistic plan, a place where we can start working on habits and mindset. And it's customized to your schedule, your energy, and your goals right where you are. So we can think where you want to be in 3 months, right? And then maybe where you want to be in a year from now, and how can we get there? So if you're looking for some support because you're struggling with consistency or even knowing where to get started, set up a free call. There's going to be a link down below. All right, friends, hope you guys have a good week and you keep on moving.